Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, So first, current events update. Before we plunge into the 10th canto, some Gopa Lila, Cowherd Boy Lila. As you may remember from Nectar of Devotion or Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are two types of Gopas, cowherd boys. Those who are more in awe and reverence, and those who are more Vishramba, equal in their dealings with Krishna. But, as we were saying, an update on current events so you don't feel isolated. Just stranded and marooned with the land, the cows, and Krishna. Missing out on all the action in the big city. One correction. The last class we had, I was talking about the UK and how they were, the famous public health care system, universal health care, was crumbling because they don't spend enough money on it. And yet they purchased 11 fancy fighter jets from the USA capable of dropping nuclear weapons. I said they spent $100 billion. That was actually $10 billion. But still, $10 billion invested in 10 billion pounds, that's more than dollars, invested in the public health system. How much good could it do? And then I was reading employment reports for those of you who are worried about career dharma. 10 or 15 years ago, the big IT titans, IT tycoons in Silicon Valley were urging everyone, go to college and study computer science. We have a shortage of programmers, coders, this is and that. Go study computer science at the university, your future is secure. What's happened? The bottom has dropped out. AI is taking over so many of the tasks done by coders and programmers and IT people. The enrollment at colleges for computer science has dropped significantly. I was reading today about one person. He thought he had it made. He was going to Oregon State University studying computer science. He knew the job offers would be lined up for him, as they used to be in the past. And so he graduated from Oregon State University with a degree in computer science, and he has filed 5,700 job applications, and nothing came through. 5,700. And the way it works these days, the Human Resources Department, everything is done by AI. So the AI analyzes your CV and sees if there's anything of interest. And so people are reporting getting rejections within 3 minutes after they send through their CV online. 3 minutes. And so there's all kinds of tips like, maybe I should say something about how creative I am. Maybe that will get, that will make my application distinctive, and the AI won't reject me automatically. But no, they say that doesn't work. Who cares for creativity? We want slaves. So this is what's going on. And then another item, you may have remembered before how I discussed one person in Missouri defeated all odds. More than the mathematicians have calculated, it's more than 1 in a million. It's like 1 in 1.36 million. He won the state lottery twice in 2 months. First time he won for $1 million, and the second time he won 2 months later for $2 million. So the mathematicians are busy calculating, like, this is outrageous. How does this happen? But then, just yesterday, I saw the history of a Japanese man who was who survived 2 atomic bombings in 3 days. He was from Nagasaki, and he was visiting Hiroshima for some engineering assignment. And his last day of his engineering assignment was August 6th. And so there he was on the last day. He was going home to his home city, and atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. He's got so many skin burns and this and that. Some or other, he made it onto a night train that left Hiroshima for Nagasaki. So he got back to Nagasaki after an overnight train, and he's got all kinds of skin burns and hair burned off, and he went to the hospital immediately in Nagasaki, and the doctor there was one of his old friends, but the doctor didn't recognize him because he was so disfigured by the blast, by the nuclear blast. So then, August 9th, 3 days later, he reported back to work to his engineering office, and he was telling his boss what he had been through, that there was a bomb that devastated all of Hiroshima. And the boss told him, "You're mad. No single bomb could do that." And then, right in his conversation, the atom bomb on Nagasaki was exploded. Right in the middle of his conversation when he was telling the boss, "I'm not mad. This actually happened." The room filled with a bright white flash. And so what are the odds of that? And he survived both and lived till 93. Mad world of karma. So today we're going to go to the 10th canto and hear about the cowherd boys reacting to a forest fire, a second one. So this is 10th canto, chapter 19, text 1. Sri Shuka Uvacha Kridas Sukteshu Gopeshu Tadgavo Dura Chadani Swairam Charantyo Vivisus Trina Lobena Gavaram. Shukadeva Goswami said, while the cowherd boys were completely absorbed in playing, their cows wandered far away. They, the cows, hungered for more grass, and with no one to watch them, they entered a dense forest. So we're put in the middle of Krishna's friends, Krishna and Balaram, and their friends taking care of cows, which is the basis of a real human economy. It's hard for people today to understand how cows are wealth. Remember when it was time for Nanda Maharaj, after Krishna's birth, Nanda Maharaj was supposed to go to Mathura to pay taxes to the king Kamsa? And what was he going to pay taxes with? Milk and yogurt and ghee. Tried to do that with the IRS. We've got a truckload of yogurt, milk, and ghee. That's our payment for our property taxes, for our whatever. People think you're crazy. But that's the basis of a real economy. I was talking today with Purushottama Kshetra, and he was describing how he mentioned to Dhruva Maharaj Das that anyone who comes to Gita Nagari, if they really want to decide whether they fit in, and if the management wants to decide if they fit in, the person should spend 2 weeks in the barn with the cows. What do you think? I visited the barn this morning during milking time. So this is not just some kind of enforced austerity. Understanding cows, understanding the barn, the milking, that's the basis of real human prosperity. So these cowherd boys, you're going to find out how serious they are about their craft. You're going to see Krishna do something miraculous in that his aspect of Aishvarya, opulence, will temporarily overshadow his Braj sweetness for the sake of impressing ordinary persons who like to see miracles. But you're going to find out the cowherd boys actually didn't see what Krishna did. Krishna protected the sweetness of their relationship. So the boys are playing in the forest. And the cows have wandered far off out of greed for grass. Now, why were the cows greedy? These cows, they're pure devotees. Why are they greedy? They're greedy for grass. Their grazing shows greediness because they were overwhelmed with bliss. They were overwhelmed with bliss because they were being herded by Krishna. So that ecstasy of being herded by Krishna, Gopal, caused them to be eating grass greedily. It may be hard for you to understand. Greed and for grass impelled by, oh, we are being cow-herded by Krishna. And who is Krishna? He's Gokulananda, the bliss of Gokul. So being herded by Krishna, Gokulananda, caused the cows to just eat grass and eat grass. So the acharyas point out, it was not ordinary greed. This was eating grass above and beyond the usual. Jiva Goswami points out that it was not ordinary greed, since it was possible to fill the stomach in a few seconds anywhere in Vrindavan. So these cows were into something extra. So this is your entrance into the ecstasy of the situation. So the cows wandered off. And now you're going to hear about the cowherd boys. They're in anxiety. How could the cowherd boys be in anxiety in Krishna Leela? But this is all spiritual anxiety. Ajagavo mahishascha nirvishanyo vanad vanam. Ishikata vim nirvivishu krandayantyo davatarshitaha. So the cows went deep into the forest. Not only cows, but there were goats and buffaloes. So we get the information that the goats were faster than the cows, and then came the cows, and then the buffaloes were slowest of all. So they entered an area full of canes or reeds, but there was a forest fire nearby. And that made the cows thirsty, crying out in distress. So you're really going to be put into the middle of a situation with cows in distress and cowherd boys in anxiety. But bear in mind that not only did the cows have a greed for nourishing their relationship with Krishna, all animals in the forest had that greed. So everyone and everything is a devotee in the spiritual world of Vrindavan. So it was the heat of the summer sun combined with the heat of a nearby forest fire. And this made the cows cry out, wailing. Who can make a sound like a wailing cow? Can you do it, Dhruva? Oh, who's that? You've heard cows wail before? Do it again. Is that accurate? Any cowherd boys here? Is that accurate? Any cowherd ladies here? Baba Prabha, you don't take care of cows?
Not as much as I would like to.
Oh. Nama Madhurya, you take care of cows? I was there this morning. This wasn't your morning. Huh? Oh, I missed it. So how do cows wail? Although they've never been in a situation here where they have to wail, cry out in fear?
No,
So you never heard them do that.
not in fear.
But what in what?
Maybe when they're chasing each other for fun.
But no, we want to hear the sound that cows make when they're in a high anxiety and feeling they're threatened and in danger. Never happens here. Okay, so no one has any experience. So there's the heat of the summer sun, and then there's a nearby forest fire. So, without the cows, what is it to be a cowherd boy? So Krishna, Balaram, and their cowherd friends felt like we've neglected the cows. Does it ever happen here? You feel like you neglected the cows? Or no, they're well taken care of. Danya, do you neglect the cows? So Krishna, Balaram, and the cowherd friends, the Gopas, suddenly were overwhelmed with repentance. Oh no, they can't find the cows. They're searching all around. Where are the cows? Where are the cows? So they take their occupation very seriously. The cows are their everything. So they didn't know where the animals had gone. And they had love for the cows. Not mosquitoes. So now you should ask, even though Krishna and Balaram are present, why couldn't their friends find the cows? What's the reason?
They wandered off in the forest
But why couldn't the boys find them?
because they didn't know where they are.
Why didn't they know where they are?
Because they were distracted playing with Krishna.
Krishna and Balaram wanted to have some fun. So Krishna's creating situations for fun. And that fun even includes the cowherd boys being in anxiety, thinking they're in danger also. The cows are in danger. So Krishna, just like in the Brahma Vimohana Leela, Krishna told the cowherd boys during lunch, remember? That, don't worry, the cows have wandered off. Don't worry about it. I'll go find the cows. You keep eating. Remember? And Krishna couldn't find the cows, and he came back, and what did he see? The cowherd boys are gone. But this is all Krishna's having fun. So once again, he seems to be unable to find the calves. He and Balaram wanted to have some fun. They want to have pastimes. If a mosquito attacks you, it's an aggressor. You can kill it. And so Krishna and Balaram, they're absorbed in the affection of their pastimes. So they're identifying with the state of consciousness of the Gopas, their cowherd boyfriends. Oh, where are the cows? Oh my God, we're in big trouble. Where are they? So first is Krishna, who's mentioned by Shukadeva Goswami. He says, Krishna Rama Dayastada, which means led by Krishna and Balaram. Balaram is, Sanatan Goswami wants us to know something. Balaram is mentioned after Krishna because Krishna had the great desire for fun and Balaram followed after him. Furthermore, Krishna and Balaram were first among the cowherd boys in terms of ability. But even Krishna and Balaram couldn't see where the cows were. By their own arrangement, of course. They wanted to have the fun of this Leela. So, Sanatana Goswami explains, this is the nature of a great pastime. What's that nature of a great pastime? To produce excitement for Shukadeva Goswami and others when they repeat it. But Krishna knows what to do to produce excitement. Text 4. Tranais Takura Dutch Chinnair Goshpadar Ankitar Gavam Margam Anva Gamam Sarve Nasta Jivya Vichetasaha. Now you're going to hear how expert the cowherd boys are in tracking down their herd. All glories to the cowherd boys. Then the boys began tracing out the cow's path. How? Damodar Kata, how do they do it? GPS? That's happening now. They put devices on cows and you can automatically track them electronically where they go. But how did these cowherd boys do it? The hoof prints. But something else also. You got the hoof prints, right? You have to do that sometimes? But besides the hoof prints, the cowherd boys, the gopas, would look for grass that had been bitten, half chewed grass. And that's how they were trying to track down the herd. So, Shukadeva Goswami explains, then the boys began tracing out the cow's path by noting their hoof prints and the blades of grass the cows had broken with their hooves and teeth. And what was the mentality, the consciousness of the cowherd boys? They were all in great anxiety because they had lost their source of livelihood. This is the basis of a real economy. Cows, milk, land. So this is also part of the pastime, that they're feeling like, oh no, we're unemployed. It's a sudden feeling, like, where's our livelihood going? Persons who are being laid off this year especially, they tell me what it's like. If you're in the corporate world, you're there, you're working remotely from home, or you're at your office desk, and then on your computer system comes a message. We regret to inform you that you are no longer employed by this entity, whatever. And then, boom, you're locked out of the computer system immediately. Shut out. Because they're worried that when you get angry by realizing that you've been laid off and you'll do something to sabotage the whole system, or you'll be privy to information that they don't want you to be privy to. So first comes the message, you're laid off. And then immediately, boom, that's it. You can't log in anymore. Very heartless how they do it. And you could have been, and I've heard from devotees, they're working hard, finishing a deadline, and as soon as they finish the deadline, that's when the message comes. Suckers. So because of the nature of the pastime, Sanatana Goswami explains, the cowherd boys had a state of feeling that they had lost their livelihood. They were like people who suddenly lose their job and become bewildered. But at the same time, they had some clarity. Why? They saw the hoof prints of the cows in the sand. So everything wasn't completely lost. But still, they were in anxiety. Oh, the basis of our existence, cows, it's finished. Where are they? Text 5. Munjatavyam brashtamagam krandamanam swagodanam samprapya trishita shantas tataste sanyavartayan. So they found their cows in the Munja forest. Munja means like reeds, canes. And the cows had lost their way. They were crying. Now, Kavi Karnapur in Ananda Vrindavan Champu, Kavi Karnapur, one of Lord Chaitanya's associates, goes deeper into the whole pastime of finding the cows and the cows being in anxiety. He unpacks it and gets into it more. He says that the cowherd boys were looking for the cows and they were going deep into the forest. They couldn't find the cows, even though they were following the hoof prints. They're going deeper and deeper into the forest, and they're starting to become overwhelmed by despair. Oh no. So Kavi Karnapur gives the example. Their feeling was like someone who's endeavored hard for material happiness and then it never gets it. So they were feeling that kind of emotion. Of course, their emotions are spiritual. Krishna's setting the whole situation up so that an intense Leela is produced for the pleasure of Krishna and his associates. So therefore, they're really feeling, oh no, we've lost everything. We've tried so hard. We can't find the cows. Just like a person who tries and tries and tries for material happiness, can't get it. So they report to Krishna that we can't find the cows. Krishna tells them, don't worry. Krishna is always the no worries person. Ma Shucha, as he says at the end of Bhagavad Gita. Just surrender to me, don't worry. And I always translate that verse based on a paraphrase I heard from Srila Prabhupada. Krishna's asking you, shut down your plan-making factory and take his plan. Don't worry. So Krishna told the cowherd boys, don't worry, I'll help. So Krishna goes into the forest, and meanwhile the cows are not simply being hit with the heat of the summer sun. There's a forest fire nearby. Hasn't yet attacked the cows. So Krishna, what does he do? He's got his flute. He plays his flute in a certain way, and he also calls out to each cow by name. Do you do that, Damodar Kada? Huh? Huh?
We have the Bali. He was inherited by Bali. Bali gave us the song.
Yes, and Bali
By name.
Prabhu
By name.
taught him a call for the cows, for the group.
Oh, okay. So Krishna would call with a voice deep as a rumbling cloud. Very melodious, very sweet. And he was also playing his flute. And the cows heard that. And they were so happy. But the cowherd boys, they couldn't get to where the cows were because suddenly the cows were surrounded by the forest fire. So the cowherd boys have heard where the cows are. They can't see them, but they've heard because the cows are responding to Krishna's calling their individual names and his flute, and he's playing his flute. So the cows are responding, mooing, but the cowherd boys can't see them. And so the cowherd boys are going towards the sound, and just then the forest fire explodes. It's a ring around the cows. So the cowherd boys, what are they going to do? They can't get through the fire. to get the cows. They want to, but they can't do that. So that's Kavi Karnapur's expansion of this Leela. Ta ahuta bhagavata mega gambir raya gira swanamnam ninadam shutra pratinedu praharshitaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, called out to the animals in a voice that resounded like a rumbling cloud. Hearing the sound of their own names, the cows were overjoyed and called out to Krishna in reply. Can anyone imitate the cows calling out in reply? Very good. Now, Baduri, can you do it? So Krishna called out their names and they answered by mooing. And we already talked about the sound of Krishna's voice. The cows were very blissful hearing Krishna call them individually. But then what's going to happen? The forest fire is going to surge. Tatasamata davadumake tur yadishchaya bhutchaya krid venal kasam samirata saratinol banol mukar velelihana stira jungaman mahan. Suddenly a great forest fire appeared on all sides, threatening to destroy all the forest creatures. Like a chariot driver, the wind swept the fire onward. Terrible sparks shot in all directions. Indeed, the great fire extended its tongues of flame toward all moving and non-moving creatures. So just as Krishna, Balaram, and the cowherd boys were about to take the cows back home, the forest fire, previously mentioned, that was somewhere in the forest, encircled the cows and surrounded the cows. So the reunion seemed to be happening, but suddenly the cowherd boys find themselves also caught in the fire. Now, how can there be such a fire in Vrindavan? Anyone ever think about that? You never thought, how could there be such a fire in Vrindavan? It was not an ordinary fire. What? Don't speculate. Your mother will teach you. The fire, what was the fire in the first fire pastime? When, right after the Kaliya Leela, where Krishna and the cowherd villagers camped out on the bank, near the bank of the Yamuna, after the exhausting, emotionally draining, ecstatic pastime of Krishna dancing on the head of Kaliya, after being caught in his grip. What was the nature of that fire? You don't remember. There are two possibilities. It could have been a friend of Kaliya, or the inner understanding was it was an illusion created by Krishna to drive everyone deeper in love with him. So similarly, this fire was not ordinary, because ordinary fires can't happen in Vrindavan. So therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this fire was actually a friend of Pralamba, who had just been killed by Balaram. How did Balaram kill Pralamba, Sura? Smashed him on the head with his fist. And so the fire, actually a friend of Pralamba, it is said, was stirred by the wind and blazing with fierce flames, sparks like meteors. So we already explained that actual forest fires are forbidden from appearing in Vrindavan. So what's going to happen next? tam apatantam padito davagnim gopaschagava prasamiksha bitaha uchuscha krishnam sabalam prapanna yataharim michu bayardita jana. As the cows and cowherd boys stared at the forest fire, attacking them on all sides, they became fearful. Again, in Krishna Leela, there's fear, there's anxiety. What's going on? But these are all transcendental emotions. They're part of the pastime. By hearing this, you're being cleansed of impersonalism. The impersonal is an aspect of Krishna's personality. Just like for you, you can be impersonal. Who knows? Dina Pollock, you know how to be impersonal? How to give someone the cold shoulder? The freeze. Do you do that to Nagari Krishna sometimes? Give him the freeze? Not yet.
Rarely.
Not yet. After the wedding. So the impersonal is the aspect of the personal. It takes a person to be impersonal. So as the cows and cowherd boys stared at the forest fire, attacking them on all sides, they're surrounded by flames. They approached Krishna and Balaram for shelter, just as those who are disturbed by fear of death approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why are the cowherd boys approaching Krishna? What do they remember? The Brijbasis, whenever they're in a tight spot, what do they remember? David Kiprita, you don't know? Something, you can be more specific.
Krishna is their life and soul, so they take shelter of Krishna.
Particularly, they remember the words of Gargarishi. The Brijbasis always resort to that. Gargarishi told us this boy will save us from all kinds of danger, that Narayan will enter within him. They never think Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Narayan will use him, enter into him. He'll save us. He's a special boy. So they remembered that Gargarishi had said, this boy will protect you from all dangers. So the fire is quickly surrounding them. It's no way to escape. So some of the cowherd boys appealed to Krishna. Not the most intimate cowherd boys. They didn't appeal to Krishna. But the intimate cowherd boys, who knows the names of some intimate cowherd boys? Sridama, Subal. Were these cowherd boys in the bodily conception of life? So why are they calling out to Krishna to save us? They are simply afraid of separation from Krishna, not death. This will become more clear later, the Acharyas tell us. They're afraid of separation from Krishna. How can we live without his lotus feet? Not save our skin, save our possessions, save our service. So the Acharyas explain, the cowherds call out without fear of death. They only feared separation from the Lord. So how do they cry out? Krishna, Krishna, Mahavira. Hey Rama, Moga Vikrama.
Hey Rama, Moga Vikrama.
What are you saying? Oh, Krishna, Mahavira, you're the most powerful one. Hey Rama, Amoga Vikrama. Balaram, you whose prowess is never thwarted. Please save your devotees who are about to be burned by this forest fire. So they call out to Krishna as a person who has great power. Remember, Pralamba considered, I don't want to attack Krishna. He looks invincible, but I'll go for Balaram. Why did that happen? Who remembers? Why did Pralamba focus on Balaram and not Krishna? Because Krishna wanted Balaram to get all the glory for terminating Pralambasura. So Krishna, with his Yoga Maya, covered the situation of Balaram's powers so that Pralamba would think, oh, Balaram is weaker. It was all Krishna's arrangement so that Pralamba would attack Balaram, thinking he's weak. Complete miscalculation, arranged by Krishna. So the cowherd boys are calling out to Balaram also. We've seen you have killed Pralambasur with one blow of your fist. So certainly you can save us. Nunam twad bandava Krishna nacharhant yavasadatum vayam hi sarva dharmagya twannatas twat parayanaha. Krishna, certainly your own friends shouldn't be destroyed. O knower of the nature of all things, we have accepted you as our Lord, and we are souls surrendered to you. So now they're calling out especially to Krishna, because they have special affection for Krishna and some realization of Krishna's great powers. He's a boy, but he's got these powers, you see. But he's a boy. So the cowherd boys are pointing out, we have especially taken shelter of you. But they're actually unconditional. The acharyas explain this is their mentality. We cannot give up your lotus feet. You know that we have come along with the cows out of fear of the fire. But we do not pray for protection of our lives or the cows' lives. So what are they praying for then? Do as you see fit, because you are sarva dharma gya. You know your own nature and you know our nature. So do what you like. This is pure devotion. Sri Shukovacha. Vacho nishamya kripanam bandunam bhagavan hari nimilayata ma baishta lochana nityabha shata. Shukadeva Goswami said, hearing these pitiful words from his friends, how could this be? In Krishna Lila, there's pitifulness? But this is really emotional, you know. The cowherd boys don't want to be separated from Krishna. They don't. That's their number one concern. Service to Krishna, not saving their own skin and saving the cows. So hearing these pitiful words from his friends, the Supreme Lord Krishna told them what?
Close your eyes.
Very good, you get a prize. Just close your eyes and do not be afraid. Now, how many of you would have done that? Fire is all around you, on all sides, about to overwhelm you, and someone's going to tell you, just close your eyes. You probably would have said, you crazy? No way. So why did Krishna tell them to close their eyes? But that's not the reason why he told them to close their eyes. That's what he did. Can someone get this mosquito away from me? It's a pain in the neck. Threefold miseries. All right. Krishna is thinking. This is why he told them to close their eyes. These boys should not see me swallowing the fire. It should be done without anyone seeing me. And what's he going to do? Besides extinguishing the forest fire, what else is he going to do? He's going to transport the boys and the cows to somewhere else, safe in the forest, to the bandira tree, a special banyan tree, because the boys and the cows are very tired and hot. So Krishna is going to put them under a special pastime tree in Bandiravan, one of the 12 forests of Vrindavan. So what did the cowherd boys reply, according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur? You're joking! How can we escape from the forest fire if we close our eyes? Krishna tells them, don't fear. Today I will use another method to protect you. So, yes, he instructed them to close their eyes as a matter of fun. What kind of fun is this? You're surrounded by forest fire and someone tells you to close your eyes? But here's the actual meaning. These boys are filled with affection for me. They don't think of their own safety. They're depending on my safety for maintaining their lives. If they see me swallow the fire, they'll be fearful for what? My safety. And they'll immediately enter the fire thinking I'm in danger and they have to save me. So that's why Krishna told them to close your eyes. He didn't want them to see him swallowing the flames because that would put his boyfriends, the Gopas, in anxiety. Oh no, Krishna's swallowing a forest fire. We're jumping into the fire to save Krishna. So Krishna knew they're going to think like that. So close your eyes. If they see me swallow the fire, out of fear for my safety, they will immediately enter the fire. Therefore, I will swallow the fire while they're not looking. And so he did that. He swallowed the fire, and he brought them to Bandira, the tree in Bandiravan, special banyan tree. For what purpose? To play. So the cowherd boys never saw Krishna swallow the forest fire. Next text. Tateti milata keshu Bhagavan agnim obanam pitva makena tan krichrad yoga disho vyamochaya. So the boys, they said, all right. And immediately they closed their eyes. Something you would have never done. The boy said, all right. They closed their eyes. And then Krishna, who is Yogadish, who knows what Yogadish means? The master of Yogamaya power, opened his mouth and swallowed the fire, saving his friends from great danger. Just when they were about to be consumed by a horrible forest fire. But you can drill down deeper into the thinking of the boys when they heard Krishna say, close your eyes. They discussed among themselves briefly. Friends, Krishna knows everything about the powers of jewels and mantras to take away the effects of poison and fire. But these methods that Krishna knows about the powers of jewels and mantras are not effective in everyone's presence. Therefore, he says, close the eyes. If you close your eyes, he'll be left alone to do his wonders. That's why he's telling us to close our eyes. So then all the boys agree, yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Krishna's got jewels and mantras that specially work, but no one can see it. All right. We'll close our eyes, let him do his thing. Now, Some say that if you want to drill down deeper into how Krishna swallowed the forest fire, this is how he did it. The fire was actually hesitant to do anything against the will of Krishna. So being afraid, the fire turned into a very cool, fragrant drink. It became a small drop on Krishna's tender hand. And then Krishna, as Yogadish, drank it, just a drop. The forest fire turned into a drop on his hand of cool, fragrant drink. So Krishna is the master of Yoga Maya. He's Yogadish. And therefore he drinks the fire with his mouth. So in this way he delivers the boys from all difficulties, from fatigue, from thirst, from the forest fire. And what else does he do besides swallow the forest fire? Parijata, do you know? He transports them out of the forest to this banyan tree where they can rest in the coolness of the shade. And you're going to hear what their reaction is when the cowherd boys open their eyes. Because their eyes are closed. They don't see Krishna transporting them out of the forest to this banyan tree. Tataschate chinyun milya puna bandiram apitaha nishamya vismita asan atmanam gaschamochitaha. The cowherd boys opened their eyes and were amazed to find not only that they and the cows had been saved from the terrible fire, but they had all been brought back to the Bandira tree. As you see, you don't remember probably, but we described the other night how this particular Bandira tree was a key element in the cowherd boys playing. They could even use the branches of this tree to hoist themselves on the backs of the losing side in their combat. So they opened their eyes and they saw, we and the cows have been saved. So they were amazed. Kavi Khanapur says that they were exclaiming, what's happened? What is this? Has there been, maybe we were just dreaming that there was a forest fire. What's going on? It's gone in a flash. So what were the cowherd boys concluding about Krishna now? Krishnasya yoga viryam tad yoga maya nubhavitam. Devagnir atmana chamam vikshate menire maram. When the cowherd boys saw that they had been saved from the forest fire by the Lord's mystic power, which is manifest by his internal potency, they began to think what? That Krishna must be a devata. He must be a demigod. So what's the proper understanding of this? The cowherd boys could never give up their ecstatic, loving friendship with Krishna. Therefore, they can't consider that Krishna is God, because that means they give up their ecstatic, loving, friendly relationship. So they got to find some other excuse. They got to find some other explanation. So rather than considering Krishna to be God, after they saw his extraordinary power, they thought perhaps he is a devata, a demigod. But then you have to pursue that thought to its logical conclusion. What's the logical conclusion, Sham Govinda? If Govinda is a demigod, we're demigods too, because we're all equal. This is Vishramba, the type of friendly relation with Krishna in which there's an overwhelming feeling of equality. Whereas the first one, what is it? Gaurava Sakya? that's when you have you have friendship with Krishna, but there's an awe and reverence attitude. But in Vishramba, the second type of cowherd friend relationship, you consider Krishna as your equal. So the cowherd boy said, yeah, he must be a demigod. But you know, that means we're all demigods because we're all equal with Krishna. So in conclusion, this Leela is showing how Krishna can cover his sweetness with Aishvarya, a inconceivable demonstration of power. But usually Krishna just maintains his sweet human-like pastimes without doing such inconceivable things. But from time to time, just to impress ordinary persons, and also his Aishvarya Shakti, his potency of opulence, sometimes wants to bust out and do its thing. Krishna's got multifarious potencies. So sometimes the Aishvarya potency wants, let me loose, I want to do something. I want to engage in pastimes. So seeing the power of Krishna to save them through his Yogamaya Shakti, the cowherd boys thought Krishna was a type of demigod. And then they concluded, as we said, because Krishna has done things humans cannot do, he must be a deva, not a human. But because we are his friends, we must also be devas. How can we be friends if we're not equal? So that thought overwhelmed them with bliss. So what we want to conclude with is that knowledge of Krishna's powers cannot cover up the cowherd boy's pure friendship with Krishna. But some little knowledge of Krishna's powers arose in this Leela. So the boys reflected on that display of powers and then thought Krishna's a special devata. What had Krishna done? He had rescued them from the forest fire. The boys had considered, because of Krishna, they did not die. Were they fearful of death? No. They didn't want to be separated from Krishna on account of dying. Their focus is always, no, we want to be with Krishna. We don't care about death. We just want to be with Krishna. So now, the cowherd boys, it's late in the afternoon, and it's time to return home. That we may take up tomorrow. The return home to the village from the forest. In the forest, there's the blazing fire, forest fire. And what kind of blazing forest fire is there in the village?
Fire of separation.
Yeah, the gopis feeling the fire of separation. All right, any questions? This is our life, gathering together, chanting Hare Krishna, talking about Krishna after a wonderful day of devotional service. Yes.
Thank you so much for the amazing class. So often, especially in the 10th canto, we hear how much fun Krishna is having. And with our understanding of being part and parcel, is fun something that we should be considering in how we serve and how we look to service? Should we be expanding our definition of it, or is fun something we shouldn't even be considering?
As you become more purified, you'll understand that the 9 processes of bhakti are the best recreation. Takes a bit more purification. In the neophyte stage, we think bhakti is a list of tasks. All right, what are they rostering me for now? I don't want to be on the roster. Someone else, can you do this service? Damn. But as you become more purified, you start to realize that devotional service is a program of complete recreation. And even the anxieties and stresses become known to you as more and more spiritual. Just like in the beginning, you think you have to eat an enormous amount of prasad to be satisfied, right? But after a while, you realize that you're taking prasad to empower your service to Krishna. But that seems impossible when you're a new devotee, to eat for Krishna's pleasure. So yes, actually everything that we're doing is simply a system of recreation. But because of our material contamination, we think it's a drudgery. Oh, I got to do this. What do you want me to do now? I've done enough. Don't ask me to do anything more. But as we become more advanced, we know how to say yes to Krishna service and how sometimes to say no in order to protect our service. But not because, that's it, I've done my quota. No, you're thinking, I need to protect my capacity to do devotional service. So therefore there are apparent limits to how much you can do. I remember one of my godbrothers, he was traveling with Prabhupada, and he was asleep in the middle of the night. And of course, you know, Prabhupada would wake up like 1 a.m. to translate. So the devotee was fast asleep like he's supposed to be, and suddenly he realizes Prabhupada is waking him up. So he opens his eyes. Yes, Srila Prabhupada. Why are you sleeping? Because I'm tired. Why are you tired? Well, he didn't know what to say. So Prabhupada was letting him know that actually on the spiritual platform there's no fatigue. Anything else? Yes?
Yesterday I had a question that why did only one said no? Why did all of them say no, but one only said yes?
Of the sons of Yayati you're talking about. I explained the first one, Yadu, said no because of dharmic reasons. He wanted to get on with his grihastha life, establish the Yadu dynasty. He didn't want to delay that because he knew in his dynasty Krishna is going to appear. The other 3 sons who said no were doing that based on irreligion, just selfishness. We don't want to take Dad's old age. Hell no. This is our chance to enjoy with our youthfulness. Finally, Puru, the youngest, said yes, of course. But Puru criticized himself, saying that I'm not a first-class son. I had to wait for my father to ask me. If I was a first-class son, I would have anticipated my father's desire and volunteered. So I'm second class. And what's third class? Do it grudgingly. All right. Like sometimes we agree to do devotional service with that attitude. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, all right. Put me on the damn roster. Just be grateful for whatever little bit I do around here. So what if it's just a little bit? Be grateful I'm doing something. I'm doing you a favor by serving Krishna. Who are you to tell me what to do? That's not Prabhupada's program. Prabhupada's program is you do whatever you like. That's how the Krishna conscious movement will spread all over the world. So the third class son does the father's order with a grudge. And the fourth class one, what does he do? Don't do it at all. Forget it. As they say in New York, forget about it. Anything else? Yes.
You mentioned that there's no ordinary fires in Vrindavan.
That's what the acharyas say.
But we see that a flood occurred, which was driven by Indra's, pride. So is it that calamities or so-called calamities in Gokula, they happen either due to Krishna wanting to purify a certain devotee or show mercy to a demon?
Krishna uses everything to bring his devotees closer to him. So what Indra did was very special. But remember, when the rain and the hail and the wind was blowing on Govardhan Hill, the Govardhan Hill was feeling pleasure. And the animals on Govardhan Hill went up to the top of the hill, and that way were safe from all the weather disturbances. And Krishna and the cowherd people were under Govardhan Hill, and underneath Govardhan Hill was all the facilities for relaxation. Beautiful gardens. So that's an extraordinary event. But actually there was no suffering. It seemed like that at first. The cows were putting their head under their bodies because of the pouring hail and rain coming down as thick as pillars. This is all driving everyone deeper in love with Krishna. So that's the purpose of what appears to be a fire in Vrindavan, a forest fire. Krishna is using the situation. Some say the fire was a friend of Pralambasura. Just like in the first forest fire, they said this could be a friend of Kaliya. Or it could be an illusion fire created by Krishna to drive his devotees deeper in attachment for him. Krishna's abode is a very special place. You can read in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. It can shapeshift to suit the pastime. The terrain can change according to a particular pastime. The topography can change. Everything for Krishna's pleasure. And there are different forests in Vrindavan. One representing spring, the other summer, the other winter, another in between seasons. And then there's one forest that all the seasons are happening at once. All for Krishna's pleasure. Anything else? Yes.
Gurudev, you're explaining how the cowherd boys didn't want to die because they didn't want to be separated from Krishna. And I've heard you explain about how the gopis don't want to die because, not just because they don't want to be separated, but because they're worried about Krishna and that he can't live without them.
Yes, how's Krishna going to be satisfied if we die? At first they say, Krishna, you're killing us with separation, we're going to die. Then, oh no, we can't die because how are you going to live without us? So you answered your own question.
Well, so what is that, like a distinctive feature of the topmost devotees, like that they're, or like why the difference between how the cowherd boys and the gopis react?
Gopi Bhava is most intense. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to taste what is Gopi Bhava, particularly the topmost Gopi. That's the most intense. More intense than Sakya Ras is Vatsalya Ras, parental. More intense than Vatsalya Prem is Madhurya, Madhurya Ras. Each, as you've read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, each succeeding rasa gets more and more intense. And each rasa has all the characteristics of the preceding rasa. So in Madhurya, you'll find all the characteristics of the other three rasas. Sometimes Shanta rasa is considered a rasa, sometimes not. So in the perverted reflection known as the material world, what is the highest in the spiritual world becomes the lowest in the material world. So human beings are very hung up on romance and passion because it's the distortion of what's the highest in the spiritual world. But if you use the male-female attachment in the material world for service to Krishna, that is the smart thing to do. Yes.
Maharaj, the residents of Vrindavan and the cowherd boys we just read, they cannot think of Krishna as God. But myself, I've been spending many years trying to understand philosophically and logically that Krishna is God. So I'm just kind of wondering, I hope it's appropriate to ask, how do I become like the cowherd boys? Like at some point you just forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
That's
Forget all
it.
your slokas?
You want Braj Ras, serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur explains, the more you serve Gauranga's lotus feet, the more the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani become known to you. Service to Gauranga, and Gauranga is worshipped in or served in Dasya Prem, or Dasya, servitude. And that servitude to Gauranga, that's the only rasa you can worship Gauranga in, that service to Gauranga automatically, in time, transforms into service to Srimati Radharani, to Radha and Krishna. So that's the secret, as described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Prabhupada also talks about it in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says, in Vrindavan, so many persons are trying to enter Radha Krishna Leela, but it's very difficult. But if they go through Krishna and Balaram, who have come as Gaur Nitai, then there can be success. Yes.
Hi, Krishna Gurudev. I've heard that the demons that came to attack Krishna in Gokul can also be understood to be the six anarthas, like lust.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur analyzes in that way. It's a particular vision by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Anything else? Yes.
Pretty much in the beginning you were talking about AI.
That was our current news roundup. To make you think how fortunate you are to be at Gita Nagari.
In the future, some positive.
Who missed out on the current news roundup? Dhruva wasn't here, Shyam Govinda wasn't here. Were you here, Nama Madhurya? Shall I repeat it? Okay. We talk about career dharma, searching for jobs that match your propensity. And as you've heard me explain before, these days, your career dharma is the job that you get. That you're fortunate to get. That's your career dharma. So we were discussing how 10 or 15 years ago, there was a huge boom in students studying computer science at the university. And all the IT wallas, the IT tycoons in Silicon Valley were telling Americans, study computer science at the university, you can get a job as a coder, as a programmer, you'll be set up for life, guaranteed, 6-figure salary, everything will be fine. we have a shortage, we have a shortage, we have a shortage. That was 10 or 15 years ago. Now what's going on? You're out of work. The number of students studying computer science has dropped dramatically because the students are realizing there's no employment. So I was telling about how one student graduated from Oregon State University, studied computer science, ready for all the job offers, and he filed 5,700 job applications. 5,700. And was rejected 5,700 times. Another lady studied computer science at the university and sent so many job applications because you apply online. And she said she was getting rejections within 3 minutes after she sent the online application in. Because AI is just sorting through. And so the whole challenge is, what can you say to get through the AI? Should you say something creative? Maybe they'll pick up on that as something that distinguishes you from all the thousands of applicants. So much anxiety. So finally, this lady, she said, okay, I'm not getting a job in IT, as the media promised some years ago, so I'll apply for a burger flipper. And she got rejected. They said, no experience. These things are going on. So we also talked about this man who survived 2 atomic blasts. Did you hear that? You heard that? Only Sham Govinda didn't hear, and Damodar Kata didn't hear. You heard that now? Oh. This man lived in Nagasaki, but he was sent by his company, Mitsubishi, to Hiroshima to do some work there. And he was supposed to, August 6th was his last day at work in Hiroshima. And what happened? That's the day the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. So he's burned, all his hair is gone. He somehow or other gets on a night train back to Nagasaki, overnight train, and he goes to the hospital, and he's so disfigured that the doctor in the hospital was a friend of his, and the doctor couldn't recognize him. So then, it's 3 days later from August 6th, Hiroshima atom bomb. He's in Nagasaki now, and he's talking, just 3 days later, he's talking to his boss at Mitsubishi about the horrors that he saw in Hiroshima. And the boss is telling him, you're mad. No one bomb can do all that damage. And then the whole room fills with a white light. Second atomic bomb dropped on Nagasaki, right in the middle of their conversation where the boss is telling him, no way, nothing could be that powerful. So in 3 days, he survived 2 atomic bombings. The first one, he was 2 miles from ground zero. The second one, he was 1 mile from ground zero. He lived till 93. These are the ways of karma. We also talked about the guy from Missouri who defied all mathematical odds, which have been calculated by mathematicians as 1 in 1.36 million chances. He won the lottery twice in 2 months. First time for $1 million, second time for $2 million. In 2 months, the same guy. So karma can work that way also. But what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Abandon all your conceptions of dharma and just surrender to me. I'll take care of your karma. Ma shuchaha. Don't worry. Anything else? Hare Krishna. Yes.
I wanted to ask, like, positive Yukta Vairagya of this AI in the future can help in the farming, for example, taking care of the cows and all this.
Everything can be used in Krishna's service, but you have to be careful that you don't become materially attached while trying to use everything in Krishna's service. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that actually this Yukta Vairagya principle, which we treat as quite ordinary and commonplace amongst devotees, he said actually it's a very esoteric, deep, confidential principle. How Krishna's energy, when used for Krishna's service, loses its material quality because it's connected to Krishna in service. But we take Yukta Vairagya in a very familiar way, just using Krishna's service, Prabhu. But actually, Yukta Vairagya is a deep, mystical, confidential precept. So yes, I use AI in Krishna's service. Sometimes it does what's called hallucination. It hallucinates. Tries to convince me that something is right when it's totally wrong. Does that happen to you?
Yeah.
And you correct it and it still insists.
Yes.
You have a question?
I had a comment. You don't mind me sharing, my startup involves using scouting drones and spraying drones for agriculture to map 3D terrain and using artificial intelligence. So it's something I'd be interested in sharing with you all at some point.
For spraying?
Yeah, for spraying crops, for pesticides.
Well, we don't do that here. Unless you have some organic sprays.
Yeah, it would probably be elsewhere too.
We hope it's not going to be around here, so the wind blows it over here. But if you got some organic, natural sprays, we'll take that. All right. Tomorrow we can meet again. Then Thursday night, I'll be at State College, Krishna willing. And then the weekend is Janmashtami and Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja. Sham Govinda, how long are you here for?
Just tomorrow, Friday.
Till what time?
Thursday morning.
Till Thursday morning. Okay, tomorrow's Wednesday. All right. Hare Krishna, thank you very much.